Aaron, Coach Brandon here, and today we're going to be using a new software to go over some of your videos and training. And I'm really excited for you because we have done a long phase of low maximal strength kind of training, and we're finally getting back into volume, which I think is going to be really relieving for you to not have to worry so much about weight on the bar, but also just get stronger with more of the traditional exercises or rep ranges. So it's going to be a real good time. Let's go ahead and start with videos. Start with this guy here. Bam. So the biggest thing with that rep is look at your knees when you squat for this next one. So those are a little too far over your toes, which is why your heels are coming up towards the end. I definitely want to make some changes there. Now, those changes I want to make is mainly around just taking those feet and pulling them out even more so and possibly getting wider. The more you do so, the more you'll be able to sit back and actually get into the hole more properly. The last thing we want is to have our heels raise off the floor because our knees travel so far forward. We always want those 3 points of contact, big toe, little toe, heel. If we don't have those 3 points of contact, we're going to minimize how much power we can produce. So making sure that we go from here to more like this, and then go ahead and try to sit back, keep a proper shin position, and really trying to keep those feet to the floor. But really easy fixes there, looking really strong. Let's go to pin. All right, so I think you win the reward for the most craziest setup there, but definitely respect it. With the pin press, same thing with the bench press, which we'll go over here in the next video. When we're doing so, I want you to train in a way where that we're keeping everything very well stacked and tucking our elbows even more so. Right now, we're going from here straight up here. And unfortunately, your bodies became really strong from that position. But what I want to do is going to be make the bench press much more efficient for you. Is going from here, having about a 45-degree elbow tuck, and then really focusing on pressing towards the spotter's face, if there was one towards the end, kind of a little bit of backwards motion. That's really the pattern that I want us to start incorporating. And now that we're getting more into volume, which is awesome, we're going to get into more traditional strength training. Now that we hit just about every PR you can imagine for yourself, we can go ahead and work on those proper patterns. So this will be a really good time to do so. Let's go ahead and look forward to that. We'll go ahead and look at your next bench video, and you're going to see something very similar to what I brought up before. So similar issues. You're really strong for that pattern. We definitely hit some big numbers here, so nothing too worried about. We're not going to look. It's not looking at this from necessarily an injury prevention standpoint. I'm not worried about you getting injured whatsoever. That's a fine pattern for safety, but at the same time, become more efficient, put a more weight on the bar, be more powerful and explosive. I would like you to just have your elbows down here from the to the end, from here, about a 45-degree elbow tuck, and then really focusing on pressing back towards the end. That's going to be huge for you, especially once we get into, or now that we're getting into more into volume. Let's get a deadlift. Nice. So we're actually creating a little bit of tension now, which is nice, and we're not having nearly as much of a shoulder roll at the end, so we've pretty much eliminated that, which is great. Next thing I want to accomplish is just getting a little better at building tension. What I'd like you to do is start with your hips a little higher up, and then let's go ahead and work on bringing our hips in, chest up as we build tension. There's a series I want you to hit. There's a cadence. So the first thing we do is we obviously carefully hinge down on the bar, pushing our hips back, loading them like a spring. Then we have our hands on the bar. We're actually grabbing. Sorry, let me actually turn this off real quick. All right, beautiful. Did by itself. So hinge down the bar, grab the bar. Next, third thing, we're going to go ahead and breathe. Brace. That's third. Fourth, we're going to go ahead and pull that barbell in tight. Really tight. Contract our lats. Lats are a spinal stabilizer, so we need to have them contracted in the deadlift even. And also keep the load close to your body, which is always good. Fifth thing we do, before we even build tension, we need to press our feet into the floor as hard as we physically can, to a point where if you weren't grabbing that bar, if you weren't properly braced, you'd shoot up. All right, this is actually really important. So we actually push our feet through the ground, pull up on the bar a little bit. Nothing really changes position-wise. And then once we're creating tension through the floor on our feet, then we're going to slowly pull our hips in, chest up, and then explode up. The one piece we're missing in the deadlift is tension building. You're keeping a neutral spine. It's moving fairly efficiently. We got rid of the shoulder roll. It's gotten a lot better. But we can definitely stand to make it more efficient by creating more tension and really getting down that the feet pressing into the floor part. The second your feet press on the floor, bar bends this much, and as you are building tension, more and more and more and more, explode up every single time. That's going to help a ton. The harder you work for the setup, the easier the rep's going to be, and now is a great time to work on it. Now we're getting more into volume. Already saw that guy. Last video we'll look at. Yeah, squat's gotten a ton better. Really like what I'm seeing. Beautiful. Yeah, you will notice a bit of a shift sometimes in the body of your squat. I think a part of that's because we've been such a maximal strength block for so long that we have a little bit of accumulated fatigue in certain areas of our body. I would like you to start working on a little bit of tissue work, specifically in the hip, the adductor, the quad, and things of that nature. You can take a lacrosse ball, foam roller, whatever it may be, doing long periods of tissue work right after training to help free up some of the range of motion there and also help with recovery. But another thing I want to do is work on more mobility training drills. So a big one is going to be a tactical frog for you. One thing I've noticed is that we lack a little bit on the external rotation part of our hip. So we're going to go ahead and incorporate more drills like that moving forward now that we are in the next block of training. So let's go ahead and look at an actual training block. Bam, beautiful. All right. So this is going to be our first week, and as you can see, there's going to be a lot of different things. So we're still front-loading doubles and introducing volume very slowly, but you'll notice the reps in reserve is fairly high. We're taking it nice and light. Same thing with everything else. Reps in reserve 3 to 5, super light, a bit of a deload on the first week. But yeah, we're tiptoeing back into volume. As you can see, 2 sets of 5. There's quite a bit of volume to what you're used to lately. Floor press. By the way, that's with a barbell, 3 sets of 7. Step up, 6 per side, tempo scope crushers, all this stuff, we're starting to creep back up into volume. Now, when it comes to Wednesday's training, conventional deadlift is going to be a little bit different from you. So if you notice, conventional deadlift and snatch grip deadlift are both on an intermediate. So what intermediate means is that we're actually going to start the lift while the weight's on block, so you shorten the range of motion, and it puts your body in a more advantageous position to handle heavier load. This is going to be a really fun one because let's say your max deadlift is 300. The second you put weights like that on blocks and get in a more advantageous position, now all of a sudden you can lift 350, and surrounding musculature responds very well to that because they have to adapt to said stimulus. So it's going to be a really fun training tool to do more mechanically advantaged lifts, which we're going to get into. So conventional deadlift, we're going to put it on 4 to 5 inch blocks, and then snatch grip deadlift, let's say your grip's normally here, we're going way wider snatch grip, and that's mainly to increase strength and size in your upper back. Really good training tool there. All right, so Friday, tempo bench, that's going to be to kind of get that pattern down I talked about. We're really going to develop that proper pattern, elbows tucked, pressing towards the spotter's face. Incline bench, getting more into volume, 2 sets of 7. Front squat with pause, only a 1 count, 3 sets of 6. Again, going towards volume. I really want to hammer down hard on dips this time around this block. I think that's going to be a really good strength developer for you, especially for the bench press. I think that's about it. Our Saturday training, our little circuit, is going to be more about recovery. We're not going to go too hard on it this time around. We'll add more intensity to it as we go, but because the week's going to be such a big shift in volume, I don't want to hit it too hard on Saturday. I want it to be treated more as a getting the lactic acid out and aiding in recovery, burning a few calories, obviously, and working towards your fitness goals as well. But more than anything, it's going to be for recovery purposes. Go ahead and tell me how you feel in the first week, because again, this is a big shift in a different direction. Hopefully you'll adapt well to it, and we can keep on getting into more lifts and accessories that will greatly benefit your goals long term. I think that's about it for today. Let me know if you have any questions.